Welcome to another episode of Portland Undead. This is episode 4 with GD Fangs. This is the guitarist for the band Hideous Monster here in Portland, Oregon. And he has been in Portland since forever.
That's true.
Your words yourself.
Yeah.
And been a musician for several years.
A lot of years.
So how did you get into the goth scene?
Well, I think that, I'm going to date myself here, but the goth scene really wasn't really a goth scene. You know, when I was a guy playing guitar in the 80s, it was more of bands like The Damned, new wave bands, Gary Newman, even Billy Idol and Generation X. All those bands were kind of like the bands that later evolved into the goth scene, Susie and the Banshees, stuff like that. So in the 80s there was a goth scene, but I don't even know if it was called a goth scene, but it later evolved into that. So that's kind of how I got into it, was just being a kid and being there in the 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. We got an OG goth in the house.
Wow.
So, after your namesake, GD Fangs,
Yeah,
you have permanent dental
I
implants.
do.
Are so cool. What was the motivation to get those, and what was the experience like?
Well, my whole life I've loved horror movies, and especially vampires.
Yeah.
So supernatural movies from the 70s and 80s really inspired me. I just loved the beauty and the whole mystique around vampires. So I was like, well, what would be cooler than to have Fangs like a real vampire? And finally found a dentist willing to experiment on me, and he did it. So that was many years ago, and I've been happy ever since.
That is too cool.
Yeah.
It's like a really big modification that not a lot of people have it, and I
Right.
kind of identify with that.
Yeah, it's a big part of who I am now.
You are vegan and into health and
I
fitness.
am.
Health goth.
Yeah. Oh God.
What is on your workout playlist?
On my workout playlist, oh, that's really funny. So let's talk about the vegan thing. So the vegan thing, I've been a competitive bodybuilder pretty much my whole life. I've competed on stage, as amateur bodybuilder, and I've been fortunate enough to, being in the music scene, I've played with a lot of my idols. So one was Doyle from the Misfits. We had a conversation one day, and we started talking about diet, and I found out he was vegan, and he inspired me to kind of go down that road also. And he was showing me protein powders and foods that he eats, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. And I went down that path, and I've never turned back. I just really found that overall, as far as my health and the way I feel, and it's a win-win situation because you're saving animals and you're benefiting your health. So how could you say no?
Right.
So I've never turned back since. Now it's been about 4 or 5 years now I've been vegan.
Nice. That is so admirable.
Well, it's amazing on how, the foods that we put in our body definitely has an effect on our overall well-being and how we feel mentally, physically, our health numbers. When you go to the doctor and they draw your blood, and you don't want to have high cholesterol, or
or anemia,
or all these goofy things that affect us as we get older. Going plant-based would definitely be I think a better option.
Yeah, it's really smart, honestly. So your workout playlist.
The workout playlist. So half the time I listen to music and have a playlist, and it's usually, believe it or not, 70s disco. is my playlist. So anything from the Bee Gees to Casey and the Sunshine Band to Olivia Newton-John is on my playlist. I mean, once in a while I'll get into the heavy stuff, Slayer and just anything really heavy. But mostly it's easy listening. On my playlist for working out is just a big part of my childhood, and
yeah, that's like good get up and go music too. So
yeah.
You mentioned off camera that you're really into horror. What's your favorite genre and your favorite movie?
So favorite genre, as far as like horror movies go, is always going to be supernatural. I like the late 70s, early 80s supernatural stuff. But if I had to pinpoint one horror movie, it'd be between Phantasm and Blood for Dracula. Phantasm came out in like 1979, so I was like a little kid. It made a big impression on me.
Yeah.
And Blood for Dracula actually had a rated X rating when it came out in like 1978 or 79, whenever it came out. And it later changed to an R rating, so I was able to like rent it as like a 13 or 14-year-old and watch it.
Nice.
And I think the reason it was rated X was because it had a lot of nudity in it.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't really anything more racy than what we have nowadays.
Right.
Back then it was a big taboo.
Well, I mean, back in the 70s. Well, it was late 70s, you said, right? So,
yeah, late 70s. So they had like some full frontals and those kind of things.
That was like unheard of.
Wow.
What's happening?
Right. I totally recommend, Andy Warhol's Blood for Dracula for any horror fan, because it is like one of the best vampire horror movies I think ever made.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a good one.
Josh, we need to download that. Okay.
Blood for Dracula. We even have a song in Hideous Monster named Blood for Dracula.
I'm very excited about this one. You mentioned that you love creepy crawlies. Do you have any at home?
I do. I actually have a piranha. And we're talking about pets, right?
Right, yeah.
Pets. Okay, so I have a piranha. His name is Freddy Krueger. Okay. And he's a red belly piranha, and he's probably about that big.
Oh man,
he's a big one. We've had him for years, and then we
amazing.
just acquired a pink toe blue variant colored tarantula. So those are the creepy crawlies that we have at home, besides our Doberman and our French bulldog.
Yeah.
So I call them creepy crawlies. But I'm very much an animal lover, and we have animals.
Aww.
Yeah.
What's your tarantula's name?
I actually haven't named it yet. I should name it. I don't have a name.
Pick out a good name for it.
Yeah, what do you got?
Oh, so mine's a curly hair, and she is wicked mean. They're supposed to be very docile. Not her.
Aggressive.
But yeah, she's not nice.
I got you.
But her name is Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great name for a tarantula.
How has being a part of this scene affected your life?
Well, it's really enhanced my life. The music scene's been really, really good. Throughout the years, I through the late 80s, early 90s, I was out playing in bands. I was in a Motley Crue tribute band for 7 or 8 years. We toured and did a lot of really fun stuff in that band. It was called Livewire. And then I was in a band called the Quintessentials, which was a satanic horror rock band. And I did that for about 2 years. And then started the band Hideous Monster, which is my project now, and it's enhanced my life in the sense that I've gotten to play with a lot of my childhood heroes.
Yeah.
And I've taken the music thing a lot more serious than I did in the past. So we've just got more opportunities. We're going to be going on tour in February. We're going through Idaho, and we're probably going to be going through California, and anywhere where anyone will book us, basically.
Right.
But so yeah, the whole gothic and music scene has been really welcoming, and totally has enhanced Hideous Monsters' existence.
Yeah.
So.
So, speaking of Hideous Monster, your single, Murder of One, of course by Hideous Monster,
Right.
is coming out on Facebook on Halloween Day.
Right.
And after that, it will be available on all other platforms as of November 15th.
Correct. Yeah. So Halloween Day, we're going to do like an exclusive Facebook where I'll be watching it with everybody that wants to watch on Facebook. It'll be like a watch party, listening party. Murder One is a single that we're going to be releasing that if anyone's a fan of any kind of horror rock, horror punk, if you like the Famous Monsters album by the Misfits, you're going to love this. This is very 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 50s kind of doo-woppy horror rock 101. So it's going to kind of reach a vast audience. And if you like anything that's like Famous Monsters or anything that's like Misfits or anything in the horror rock genre, you're gonna love this. It's gonna be just like right up your alley.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for
What
it.
time does it come out?
Well, we haven't announced the time, but we will announce the time the night of the evening before, which is gonna be October 30th.
Mm-hmm.
I will announce the night before, like approximately what time it's gonna be going on, which will mostly be like in the morning hours.
Okay.
So hopefully everybody will be joining us.
So speaking of, all of the social media links for Hideous Monster and their newest single, Murder of One, will be in the description below as they are now and as they become available. So to close, what wisdom would you like to impart on the world?
Well, just basically have common sense, just because you don't agree with somebody or don't see the same views as somebody else, doesn't mean that you're right or they're wrong. Let's accept everybody for who they are, and as long as no one's hurting anybody, it's all good.
Yeah.
So that's the wisdom that I want to put on the world.
Yeah.
Accept everyone.
Exactly. Because we're all different.
We're all different.
I mean, especially us. We're fucking weirdos.
So it makes the world go around.
Yeah. Woo. Again, thank you for watching episode 4 of Portland Undead, featuring the amazing GD Fangs. And once again, all of the links for Hideous Monsters' social media platforms will be in the description below. Stay tuned next week, because we're going to have another amazing guest. And like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already, so that you get to stay in the loop.